I've said it before, I'll say it again. You can't trust a forward. Listen to my words tonight. Don't just fall in love with my face. I used to be somewhat of a big deal, wheeling, dealing, no bucket in the warm-up, people carrying my bags in. How many times do I have to tell you through text, let's talk about the PK? That is a dirty hit that needs a response. I like a stiff, stout pillow. We'd rather dress nobody than dress you.
The only thing I like better than easy points are free Slurpees.
Goalies embellish all the time. He tumbled over like he was hit by a Zamboni. Am I this good, or are we just winning by 7 goals, and that's why I'm out here? Just say, I know you're right, Struddy. Just get it out. I think I am the modern-day Ronnie Dangerfield.
Yeah, get no respect.
And now, Weiss Johnson presents Struddy's World. Here's your host, a guy who knows Friday the 13th can't be that unlucky if his show's on, Jason Strudwick.
How are we doing today, everybody? Welcome into the show. Sorry we had to push this one from Wednesday to Friday, but we're happy to be here, happy to be a part of your lunchtime here with Zubie and myself. The Oilers have a tough night last night, lose 7-2. The great news, if you're a player and a coach, is you get to get right back at it tonight and take on the St. Louis Blues. We have tons to get with you today. We got Zubie, we got myself, we got Jamie McLennan joining us in about 20 minutes time. And then the voice of your Edmonton Oilers, you can hear him on Ched, Jack Michaels. He's right in the fight with these guys every day, and here's what they have to say. So tons to get to tonight here, or this afternoon here on the show as we get you prepped for the St. Louis Blues game. The show, as always, is brought to our good buddies at Weiss Johnson Heating and Air Conditioning. Weiss Johnson is now offering no interest for 24 months to make your purchase easier. Visit wjjingle.com for exclusive specials just for Got Your Back jingle lovers. Let's hit it, Zoobs.
Weiss Johnson, whoa. We're proud to be local and family owned.
And I'm out of my home studio today. I am actually in a hotel in Penticton, making my way home this afternoon. I've been home in time to watch the Oilers game. And Zubie, man, I mentioned the coaches and the players wanted to get over that game last night. I think I omitted the fans. I think there's some pretty upset fans this morning when I woke up with multiple very negative texts from some buddies.
Wow. Well, you know what? The stream last night, though, I actually felt like last night's show was therapeutic. I feel like the stream,
Sure.
the attitude on the stream changed from the beginning to the end of the show over time, that maybe it was a little bit cathartic for us all to get on there and vent about it. But let me ask you this, Struds, because this is something I said actually kind of to someone in the Discord well after the fact, after the show even. If the boys look, at times got a little feisty, looked like they were pissed off last night, if they're truly pissed off, they got a chance to show it right away against a team that is out of the playoffs. Like they really got a chance to come out here and show that was an anomaly. What you saw the 2 games prior is more like what we are. I mean, they got to come out with some sand tonight, don't they?
I think it carries over. It can carry over because A, you're riled up during the game, and then B, you're riled up post-game thinking about what happened during the game, a la 7-2 loss. So I think it will come in. I think we will see a pretty fired up team tonight as they take on the St. Louis Blues. So let's get you all right up to speed now, brought to you by McDonald's. NHL Star Sticks are back at McDonald's. Start your collection and get one of 7 mini Star Sticks with every NHL Star Sticks meal, featuring hot shots like McDavid, Matthews, Hughes, Makar, Celebrini, Reinhart, and Montembeault. Shoot for the whole set while they last for a limited time only at participating McDonald's restaurants in Canada. Zubie, I ask you, what comes first? Good defensive posture and or goalies playing well? Well, let me give you my case right now. I think what happens is that when you're a player, you make choices with and without the puck all over the ice. And this leads to chances against. Whereas a goalie, all you can do is react to what's going on in front of you. I think that they have a tough time with this Oilers group predicting what is going to happen in front of them. And I think at times they perhaps start to guess because it's not predictable. The flow of play is not too predictable. We went over last night. Rust chances, the Oilers are one of the worst in the league against. High danger chances against are one of the worst in the league against. There's so many issues defensively. I think these goalies are really swimming, or drowning in some nights trying to figure out. That's his excuse, some of the play of the goaltenders. But Zubie, I firmly believe goaltending is a byproduct, or good goaltending is a byproduct of solid defensive play. It doesn't have to be great, but it has to be solid and predictable.
Struddy, I'll just make one comment on this, and then we'll get to Jack. But a goalie, we talk about reflexes. Like, reflexes are actually make very few saves for you. It's all about reading. The reflexes at how hard shots are shot. You can't, the body can't even react that quickly. So it's reading, but it's not just reading how the puck comes off the stick or whatever. It's the play. You're reading the play leading up to that as a goalie as well. And that's a huge portion of it. And when you don't have that predictability, you can't read the play. You can't pick up the shot. I might owe Jari an apology for what I said about him on the Robertson spinning goal last night. I watched that one again. That's a tough one to pick up on the spin like that, and that was a pretty good shot. But certainly, it's like it's reading the play, it's reading the stick, and when your defense plays a certain way, there's certain things you can eliminate. I know this shot's not coming. I know that pass isn't there, and you can narrow your focus of what you're trying to stop. And when the defense is unpredictable, then it opens up so many more options, and it's very difficult.
Well, it's the ongoing conversation we're going to have today. We have Jack Michaels coming up, Noodles, obviously the goalie, he'll let us in, and we want to hear from you. Jump in our stream, give us your thoughts. What comes first, good defensive play or good goalie play? Let's bring in now our main man, the voice of your Edmonton Oilers. You can hear him on 880 Ched. Jack Michael, whoa, are you fresh off the tennis court, you old dog? You're looking tight.
I don't know about that, but second of a back-to-back, you got to keep the energy up somehow. So, but I'll tell you what, I mean, Struddy, the only thing I'd say is, at some point you got to look at cold reality here. And no matter how much the defensive play has struggled, 36 goals and 7 starts. I mean, if it's 26 and 7, then you're like, why? Maybe we look at the system, but I can't help but think, and I'm not saying he didn't pull some saves out. I mean, when it was 5-0, 5-1, 5-2, he did make 3 or 4 quality saves, but you've already let in 5. Now, again, were they good defensively last night? No. Were they ready to play last night? No. I think Dallas had come off a pretty shaky win over Vegas. And Struddy, you know better than anyone, when you're at the tail end of a winning streak, those kind of games start creeping in. Yeah. And Vegas was not going. So they were unable to cash in on that, right? Because Vegas was playing lousy. And that's really what Edmonton got going. I thought the caliber of play Tuesday in Colorado as compared to Sunday in Vegas, there was no comparison. But I think, a combination of Dallas being snapped to attention by, getting away with one against Vegas, and then also, candidly, and I talked to the players about this, and they conceded that for this year's team, that was a big win against Colorado. You lose 3 guys, it's physical, it's emotional, and even though you shouldn't because you're in no position to do so, I think there was a bit of an emotional letdown, and Edmonton was not engaged in that game, physically or emotionally, until they were already down 3.
Yeah, really well put. And it's, Zubie used a comment. We were talking on the phone earlier. Zubie and I talk every morning over our morning coffee, and he said he thinks it's symbiotic, right? That relationship between the goalie and the players, and I do think it is. But I do think it starts with the play in front. And I think right now Jari, and to some extent Ingram's having a tough time kind of picking that up. So tonight, St. Louis Blues, they're a team that is kind of where they're at. They've made some trades, obviously, to move things along. What would you consider any tweaks or adjustments that Chris Knobloch can make heading into this? Are there any needed as far as the lines? It was just such an off night, especially a start last night.
Well, first of all, they don't have any personnel with them. It's not like they're carrying a bunch of extra players. Now, pending a recall that might be coming, or so the malleability would be within the 12 that played last night. And that's where you have to look at, do you load up for one night? Do you try to start the game with McDavid and Draisaitl and go for the quick kill, knowing both teams are on short rest? I mean, St. Louis had just as, challenging a back-to-back. They're in Raleigh, North Carolina.
Yeah.
I know they gain an hour coming the other way, but they probably weren't in their beds, more than an hour or so before Edmonton was. So the one thing about St. Louis, Struddy, and I know you've seen it and perhaps experienced it yourself, when a team falls out of contention and some of the guys that were counted upon and expected to make them a playoff team, and I mean, candidly, the way St. Louis finished last year, coming within an eyelash, I mean, you talk about a bad first round playoff loss. And who knows? Maybe something that had some residual effect emotionally on the start of this season. I mean, Winnipeg should have been shaking hands, and it should have been, a St. Louis team that was moving on and potentially doing some damage. But instead, they lost that series. And for whatever reason, especially offensively, just have not done anything this year. Now, part of that is David is the only guy who's, not missed at least 10 games. The only guy in their 12 forwards that hasn't missed at least 10. So they've been banged up. But my point is they're playing free and easy right now. They're 5-0-1 in their last 6. And the game they lost, they had a 3-1 lead in the third period. So, they're going to get the Oilers are going to face Hofer tonight for the first time ever. He's never played Edmonton. And unfortunately for the Oilers, particularly in St. Louis, the Blues always give them fits. So they better be ready. And that's why you wonder whether, loading up at the start at least perks those guys' ears up. But on the other hand, if it's not the collective, they're going to be in tough tonight because St. Louis, all the pressure is off, and they've been playing much better hockey and getting much better goaltending.
Jack, early in the year when Stan Bowman had a press conference, I think it was maybe before the season, he said, we're going to be a better team in, March, April, May than we are September, October, November. So, of the players that have been here or even, not so much the ones that have been traded for, but the ones that have been here, which of the players have you seen the biggest growth from in their game from September to March 13th?
Matt Savoy. Savoy, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think to be honest with you, Podkolzin has taken one more step. He's got a shade more confidence offensively, but for me, it's Matt Savoy, and for me, it's especially since the Olympic break. I don't think he realized the accumulation of wear and tear that the NHL had on him in his first season at this level. And what he told me in Colorado was I was surprised at how good my legs felt when I came out for skates, as the Olympics was wrapping up. He said, I just, I didn't know it, but I just felt recharged, re-energized. And, for me, that ability to be in the right spots because he knows where they are. And, his two-way play, he's a smart hockey player. He like Podkolzin, his details are outstanding. And so that for me would be the one guy that really jumps out. And unfortunately, the other guy that comes to mind who very quietly has had a solid season, and this will be a guy that I think you'll take some pride in because without the fighting aspect, of course, but he was kind of your kind of player. Ty Emberson has had a solid year.
Yeah.
How many times, Struddy, would you say, oh boy, they really exploited Emberson tonight?
Yeah.
He's been rock solid in some ways. You could make an argument that he's been a stabilizing guy for Darnell Nurse at times. He's just been steady, and I think he's been and credit Nurse as well. I just think that's been a sneaky good pairing, and Emberson in particular in terms of expectations. I think he's taken a giant leap forward. I do not worry about Ty Emberson in a first round series. I think he's experienced enough, and I think his play has been steady enough that he should not be looked upon as a potential weak spot in this lineup.
Yeah, those are three I'd picked up. I was thinking about earlier today. They've taken a big step. So, good trades to bring those guys in. Now, the guy that I was liking how we started was Colton Dock. Now, I know that he's nicked up, and I believe he's gone home, if I'm correct. But he's another guy that we could be thinking a year from now and saying, hey, this guy is now kind of a heavy, big body. He can chip in that bottom six and probably bottom line if we're if we're looking ahead to this team.
Well, he certainly got off to a great start. He was elated to be back in Edmonton. He played a lot of games in Chicago this year. I mean, this is a guy who hasn't spent much time in the minor leagues, and he's a second round pick. So it's not like he was a lock.
Yeah.
It's not like he was a top 5 pick like Kirby, right? So, his gravitation of the National Hockey League, I think, and maybe you disagree, but it might have been a little bit earlier than
For
ideal
sure.
in terms of
Yeah.
rounding out the corners of his offensive game. But absolutely, his speed and ability to get to the corners and lay the body is significant. Now, on the other hand, Chris did not sound overly enthusiastic that his return is imminent. So unfortunately, there might be a setback there. And I don't know how many games he's going to be able to get in at the end of the season to kind of reestablish some continuity. But absolutely, I mean, again, extremely short sample size. And quite frankly, there was a game or two in there where I thought maybe he had earned a few more shifts than he got.
Yeah.
But absolutely, I saw some of the same things I think you're talking about in terms of a little bit more what this team needs, which is the Vegas blueprint. And that is a fourth line that you were utterly unafraid to play
Yeah.
against any of the opposition's top lines. I think Edmonton, to some degree, has solidified the third line with the acquisition of Dickinson. But if you could take it one step further and find a fourth line that you could play 8 or 9 minutes completely unencumbered, I think that would be a huge step in the right direction for this team.
Well, let's finish kind of where we started looking at tonight. A lot of kind of intensity last night shown by, Connor McDavid getting into it. We saw other guys, Leon getting into it. Bouchard got into it. We saw Szymanski kind of, force them to get into it. So do you think that is something that could carry into tonight's game against St. Louis? The Oilers, 2-2 on this road trip was what I said I hope they could been heading in. They have a chance to be 3-4, and that'd be a hell of a great road trip considering the opponents.
Yeah, I think Struddy, you remember this from your playing days. Once you win the first 2-2 is no longer acceptable. It would be a
Fair point.
massive letdown to
Yeah.
let these two get away. And again, yes, St. Louis has been playing well, but they're also playing out the string. You've got it. You've got to win this game. You've got to take care of the few cupcakes, and there's not many that are left on your schedule. You cannot afford losses to the likes of St. Louis and Chicago and Vancouver, all of whom remain on Edmonton's schedule. Not if you want to, potentially get home ice advantage or maybe even win the division for the first time since 1987. So you cannot let this one get away. The one thing I'll say, I think it's been a good trip from what you're talking about. So often this team is accused of being somewhat robotic, brilliant, but without maybe fire. This has been a good trip for that. A hard fought win in Vegas, and then a real rugged, physical, intense, emotional victory over Colorado. And as you pointed out, there was some pushback. And you know what? Frederick got into the mix. Colson was barking a little bit. Those are good nights for your team, Jason. And again, you played, so you know this, when everyone starts sticking up for one another. So they're going to need to carry that over. They're going to need the emotional engagement they had in the last 40 minutes to carry over, and they cannot afford another sleepy start. They had 2 shots in the first 19 minutes last night against Dallas. They've got to start, as much as we're talking about the defensive side of the game, and I don't dispute that it certainly needs shored up. You also can't go out there like they've done in recent weeks and have 3 or 4 shots in the first period, because you're allowing a team like St. Louis to hang around. And just like Matt Damon in Rounders, you cannot afford to do that because he's going to take your stack at the end of the night.
Ending on a high note. I love it, Jack. Well, have a great call tonight, buddy. We look forward to this game, and then you guys head home. Thanks, buddy.
Cheers, pal. Take care. I'll see you Monday night.
See you then. The great Jack Michaels. Yeah, we'll be there at the comedy night. That'll be fun. Zubie, although you can't come, I'll just save the best jokes and tell you all about them.
Yeah, just run them back. You can take credit for them too. And
you know, I do that. I do that all the time. Yeah. All right. Great info from Jack Michaels. Let's check out here for a second. Quick pause. When we come back, we'll have Jamie McLennan on live from a snowy Toronto. You know how they love getting that inch of ice over there. So get your questions in the stream later on. We have Ask Struddy, then a great get off the fence with Zubes in about 15 minutes. So stay with us, everybody. Jamie McLennan right around the corner.
At Modern Measure, every item of clothing starts from scratch and is designed from the ground up, based on both your style preferences and current fashion trends. Their clothing is fully designed to give you the exact look you're looking for, down to the smallest details and customization. The Modern team will work with you to make sure that you not only look and feel great, but make the most of your investment. On the ground floor of Edmonton Tower downtown, Modern Measure.
Getting the breakfast you love for just $5 plus tax every day? That's not just value. That's McValue. Get $5 McValue breakfast meals every day.
Dennis here from Weiss Johnson. Are you looking to get into the trades or have a kid graduating high school wondering what to do? Weiss Johnson is looking for career-minded people to work for us. Opportunities truly are endless. Become a service technician, gas fitter, refrigeration technician, install residential or commercial heating and plumbing systems, fireplace installations or service, duct cleaning. We are the company where you can learn all aspects of the trade and pick which career path to take. We have an awesome benefits package and offer school reimbursement too. Visit wjcareers.com today.
Oilers are in St. Louis to take on the Blues tonight. Could be a great road trip if they get 3 of 4 with a win tonight. But now let's talk some more Oilers hockey with Struddy's Buddy, brought to you by HSC Core Services. Need a safety program? They build it. Need it managed? They'll do it. Stuck dealing with those online safety registries your clients make you sign up for? Yep, they handle those as well. And yes, they also do core audits. Visit www.hsccore.com. That's HSECOR.com for more info. And there he is, Jamie McLennan. Noodles, how you doing today, Big Cat?
Not too bad. How's it going today?
Good, really good. Yeah, dude, I like how the sexy library look going there. You take it off, put them on.
I'm on my computer. I can't see anything right now.
Well,
I'm like writing, so I'm you know, the older you get, you ever see the phone where you're like having to like 2 feet away from your face, and the font is like 2 inches tall now. It's crazy.
Jeez, you got a lot going on.
Walleye vision.
Drink more prune juice. I might help you out with that situation. So Noodles, right in the very beginning of the show, I talked about what comes first, solid goaltending or solid defensive play. I feel this. I think that right now for Oilers goaltenders, Oilers are near the bottom league for high danger chances against, rush chances, so many ones that really affect the goaltenders. I think it's very unpredictable. It's an unpredictable environment to how some goalie people would use it. And I think when the Oilers are more predictable, I think their goaltender and their stats tick up. So am I letting them off the hook too easily? Because like last night, the first 3 goals, I feel like they were very preventable goals by the players, the decisions they made with and without the puck further up the ice.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird, Struddy. It's the chicken or the egg, because basically the play in front of them can be masked by the goaltender, but then the goaltender isn't confident enough to mask the play in front of them. And what happens is they're disconnected. That first goal, you're right, it's preventable. Comes off the wall. I thought Jarry was moving too much. There was too much motion in his game last night. But that Matt Duchene goal, I mean, Jake Wallman might as well put the pads on. He runs into, like, he's standing in the crease, trying to poke check, and Jarry's trying to make the save, and Jarry runs into him. Like, it is the chicken or the egg. I think the team is a Jekyll and Hyde team, because I thought they were fantastic against Vegas. I thought they were fantastic against Colorado. And, Dallas is missing a couple players. You're not going to have a perfect road trip. I just, those are really good teams that you're playing. But what I was disappointed in is they got away from what they had success on in Colorado, in Vegas, and that was playing tighter. Bouchard with a little curl and drag at the blue line. Here we go. And just some looser play. I get it. I understand. You're not going to have your best play. I'm not absolving Tristan Jarry at all. I didn't like the 5th goal against. I thought it was short side. He was deep. If you actually look at him, he's moving up and down and sideways. Like, he doesn't look set. Like a goaltender, to me, when they're on their game, and I can, believe me, I've gone back over my career games. I know when I felt good and when I didn't feel good. And believe me, there was a lot of people that didn't feel good about me being in the net. But it was more, if you are solid and there's less motion in your game and you're using your size, then a lot of times it takes a good shot to beat you. And it's funny, people, talk about Jarry and, well, Stuart Skinner, look at him, we let him go. Well, he plays in a different defensive structure in Pittsburgh. And I watched them the other day. They ended up losing 5-4 in a shootout. And Skinner still has the same warts in his game. The side to side, he gets beat. In the shootout, he got beat. But, he was a predictable goaltender, and the team had to play around it. To me, Jarry's got to be a little bit more predictable in the net of how he likes to make saves. But the team, you can't, like, to your point, you pointed out, analytically, they give up way too much. And they're way too easy to play against in their own zone. And I think against Vegas, against Colorado, that wasn't the case. The details of the game were there. There were stopping and starting. There were guys in the lane. And magically, you got saves from Jarry and you got saves from Ingram. So it's the shots you give up, and it's the confidence, the D feeding off the goaltender feeding off the D, and the forwards helping out. But I'm not absolving Jarry in this either. I didn't love his game last night, but I think he is a goaltender that has more ability. I believed in him before. I'd like to see him settle in and get onto a little bit of a run. But, Ingram has played very well. And Ingram is a little bit more of a predictable goaltender because he's a little bit quieter in the net.
Yeah, he's solid. He just seems to be there. And if it hits him, good. If not, then that's okay. So, here's Knobloch, here's the other coaches trying to figure out how there can be such variance in the way that the Oilers play. And we won't even worry about the offense because we know they can score. But defensively, there's no practice time. I've talked to a couple of NHL guys. They watch video, right? And that's not just Oilers. That's teams around the league. They watch video. And I get it. You want to see the video, but I think you have to feel it. You have to feel that feeling of what it looks like to defend and be in the right place, or angling, or, the goal from, was it Jason Robertson's where Wallman just backs way off. I think they have to figure that out. So, do you know of any other way to get players to feel comfortable about how you defend other than practicing video or just begging them to change and to be, ready each night to face that battle?
You know what's crazy? And I would only say this just because I know people who went through it. I think our buddy Iggy went through it. But do you remember Team Canada in the summer had an off-ice workout for the Olympics where the guys were playing ball hockey and they were just standing like they were doing positioning. And I think a lot of times, I played for some great coaches. Al Arbor was my first NHL coach, Joel Quinville, Mike Keenan. But I remember going to Minnesota, and we were an expansion team, and we were a traditional expansion team. Like, there was a bunch of scrubs being taken off of teams, and that was us, right? So I remember Jacques Lemaire, our coach, saying to us, I'm going to go through systematic play, and you're not going to get a sweat in this practice, but what you are is going to learn positioning. You're going to be where I want you in the defensive zone. And he would call it the parking spot. He would say, this is how you have to play. Now, the game is a lot faster than it was in the year 2000. So I'm affording that. But I still think you need to figure out how to run your routes. You talked about Jake Wallman. I thought he played well against Colorado the other day when they went down to 5D. But I think his D has been awful. And I'm trying to be respectful here because I think I like him as a player. And I think he's just got so much more to give. But he's not aggressive. His gaps are awful. I think he's second guessing his first passes. And he's not being a physical force, which he can be. To me, in the playoffs, this is a guy drawing penalties. He's getting in people's face. He's had some swagger. He's scoring goals. And he's making that first pass to help his forwards. And what I've seen between him and Darnell Nurse, and that's why they break him up, is their gaps were terrible. Now you can lay it on the forwards not giving back pressure so the D can hold up. But man, oh man, like they seem like a zone apart. And I think a lot of that, coming back to your original question, it's being on the ice and understanding your spacing and where you need to go. And you and I can watch it on a phone. It gets pushed to everything and say, hey, this is what you did on that shift. Until you run your routes physically.
Yeah.
And even if you're standing there in running shoes or, in a conference room in a hotel, like, to me, guys have to figure out where their spacing is, how much they can trust each other, and then figure that out, because it is a moving target. Hey, they got dummied last night. Well, guess what? St. Louis is waiting for you tonight. And, are you going to wade your way into the game? Or are you going to be pissed off and play with some determination like you did against Vegas and Colorado? Because the Oilers got to salvage this road trip. They've got a good schedule ahead of them if they could finish this road trip nicely.
One last one for you, Noodles. Look at the Pacific Division. It's like, it's up for grabs, right? It is insane. Vegas won last night. The Ducks lose to the Leafs, which has been hard to do for a lot of teams in the last little while. So, Sharks are in that mix. Kraken lost last night as well. So there's 5 teams. If you had to handicap it, how would you guess it goes 1, 2, 3 wins all said and done? Like, the Oilers have 16 games left and everyone else is plus or minus 1 or 2 from there.
I could see the Oilers winning the division if they get their game in order. They're 3 points back of Anaheim. There is a head-to-head. They got San Jose, I believe, next week. Like, you are facing these teams. Let's not forget, LA, I think, has 3 games in hand, and they've been kind of playing a lot better lately, too. Like, they're not out of the woods. It's crazy. The Oilers are 3 points out of first place, and I think they're 5 points out of dropping out of the playoff spot. So you're right in that messy middle. But you can see, and I'll give you the only example that I could share with the fans. I remember, I call Ottawa Senators games. Everyone knows that. So down the stretch last year, Ottawa was playing, 2 games in Ottawa, one against Tampa, one against Florida. And Ottawa needed the points, and Tampa and Florida were battling with the Toronto Maple Leafs for the lead of the division. And I remember having a conversation with Paul Maurice. Now, it's a lot easier when you're coming off a Stanley Cup. So, put that, a little asterisk beside that. But I remember talking to Mo saying, like, our team's not where we want to be. But he's like, you can't start pushing them because they got a lot of mileage and they know how to play, but we want to be healthy and firing at the right time. And I said, I get that. Guess what? They ended up losing that night against Ottawa, but it was a hard-fought game, and I think the goalie ended up stealing it for Ottawa. You need to see what your team looks like and feels like. I think Dickinson was a great trade. I think Murphy was a great trade. Yeah. I think Doc is a player that is going to settle in and be, a force in the future. He still has to learn how to play at the NHL level consistently. I look at this group and I think that's your team, and knock on wood for health. But I think you've got to figure out how you want to play consistently. And to me, it's like, hey, we got 1 good game and 2 bad ones. And the bad ones aren't just bad. It's like, hey, we're giving up grade A chances and we're giving up 6 a night. Like, that's not good. Like, and you look at their record against the top 3 teams in the West, and it's like 1-7-2 or whatever it is. It's not, it's not good. So they've got to have some consistency there, Struddy. I do believe they can do it, but you keep waiting for them to go, okay, now they got it. And then they take a step back like they did last night.
Yeah, it's crazy. Well, tonight will be a fun game. I can't wait to see it. Then they come home. Like you said, they've got some games at home. Noodles, thank you for this. I know that you're probably going to have to go and shovel, what is it, half of an inch of snow, going to paralyze the GTA?
Well, not JTA, it's GTA, Greater Toronto Area. But you do remember, I think it was in the late 90s, they called in the Army because they had a couple feet of snow. So I still bring that joke up. But no, it was pretty greasy out. And but it's fine. I mean, I've got my ATV with a shovel on the front. I'll be just zooming around doing fishtailing on my driveway, so I'll be fine.
Yeah, that'll do great for that inch of snow that you're so worried about on your driveway. Okay, buddy. Thanks for this. We'll talk to you soon.
Off to my pop and chips. Have a good one.
lunch of champions. All right. Zubie, anything you want to comment there on from the great Jamie McLennan?
No, I'm thinking about pop and chips now, actually. There was one comment here that came up. Queen Bee Amy said, Draisaitl took a period to get intense in that game last night. Do you feel, Struddy, like that's the book on this team? Like other teams must know, let's jump on these guys because they always start slow. And it feels like they're waiting. They're going to wait to counterpunch, and we can bury them in the first because they seem to give that up. It's got to be part of the opposing team strategy, right?
I do think, though, at times, though, like there are going to be nights where you're not feeling it. And I'm not suggesting that Leon or Connor or Hyman or ever can take nights off, but there's just nights you don't have it. And that's where your system holds it down. And I go back to Matthias Ekholm said when he arrived, feel comfortable winning a game 1-0. A low event game. Like I'd love tonight to see the chances be like 6-4 and the Oilers win 1-0. Like just low event, just shut it down. Don't give them anything. Don't give St. Louis anything. Get your goal, from a fourth line or whatever, and just win it that way. Like just win ugly. And I don't think the Oilers, they're incapable of winning just an ugly game when it's like 1-0. Now they've won a lot of ugly ones, 6-5 in overtime.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
That I don't like those games, but I do like this style. Okay, let's just
go. How about 3-1 with an empty netter, something like that?
Yeah, just something ugly, just low event. We're like, God, that was a boring game. Yeah, thank God it was a boring game. Is what I want to say.
It's never boring. Holy cow, it's never boring.
No, it's not. It's not. So let's do this. Let's get to our digital sponsor, brought to you by Timberhouse, the leader in custom and infill development. If you're tired of cookie cutter, copy and paste designs with no soul, see the team at Timberhouse and discover how natural inspired living can make your life better. Take all the guesswork out of your infill project and work with your experienced leaders. Visit timberhouse.ca. So this is coming down from the Oilers themselves. The Oilers have made a trade. Now you can make trades, but it has to be minor league or between teams that aren't in the playoffs. So this was a minor league trade. The Oilers acquired a forward named Josh Bloom from Vancouver in exchange for Jason Strudwick. Now, Jaden. Josh Bloom was a former third-round draft pick, actually, of the Buffalo Sabres in 2021. So, not that long ago, he was a third-round draft pick. He's played in the minors for the most part, with Abbotsford, Kalamazoo in the East Coast Hockey League. This year, he's played in Kalamazoo Wings, that's in the East Coast. He had nearly a goal a game in 19 games. With Abbotsford, he has one goal in 19 games. So, not a significant trade. I'm guessing this is something for their minor league team and or East Coast League. Zubie.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you what would be the purpose of this trade at this time. It's interesting. It's always fun to kind of look up these guys and see what they do, but it sounds like it's just probably a organizational depth move.
And maybe doing someone a favor. So Jaden was a third-round pick of the Rangers the same year. So 2 third-rounders getting traded for each other. He's a year older than Josh is. And, for Jaden, he's pretty much played in the minors, East Coast League for the whole year. So maybe it's an opportunity for someone to go somewhere else. And sometimes they do favors like that. But I don't think this will impact the Oilers roster.
I'll have to change the headline of this whole show now, Struddy.
Yeah. Yes. Sorry for dropping that on you, Zub, and creating more work for you. Gruby gone, Bloom in. Okay, buddy, do you want to take a quick break, or do you want to do get off the fence or something? What do you want to do?
Let's do the break, and I'll gather my thoughts here for 45 seconds, and then we'll get off the fence. Or play the field, up to you.
No, let's do it. Let's take a quick break. Great stream today. Give us a thumbs up, a like, a follow. We really appreciate it. Tell a friend. When you come back, get off the fence and filling you up with playing the field, everybody.
Beautiful fences exist. With a wide range of styles and colors from wood grain to white, DLR Vinyl products can make your fencing project pop. Because summers are for chilling and grilling, not sanding and drilling. Go vinyl at dlrvinylproducts.ca.
So at Timberhouse, our guiding philosophy is naturally inspired living. We believe that through design, we can solve problems and enhance people's lives. We follow biophilic design principles in all of our builds to incorporate natural materials, natural light, to enhance all the spaces in a home. When you have your space perfectly reflect who you are and what you value, and it's made well, we think that that just leads to better living.
I can get right.
I already played this one. Let's do a different one. Yes, the smooth sounds.
Oh boy. Too sexy. Here we go. Let's get rocking here as we get into Zubie's time to shine. Get Off the Fence, brought to you by DLR Vinyl Products. As Alberta's #1 vinyl product supplier, DLR offers top quality materials to build a fence or deck that won't rot, fade, or fall apart. If you need a skilled contractor to take care of the job or prefer a DIY approach, DLR can help set you up with all you need. Canadian owned and operated with locations in Calgary and Edmonton. Visit them today online at dlrvinylproducts.ca. Zubie, what do you got for us, buddy?
Okay, well, very much talked about Miami Heat player Bam Adebayo. Puts up 83 points the other night. The second highest point total single game in NBA history. Of course, only trailing Wilt Chamberlain's 100-point game. But there's controversy around this, especially because the 83 points, of course, just narrowly eclipsed Kobe Bryant's legendary 81-point game from 2006 against the Toronto Raptors. And the controversy is just sort of about the integrity of the 83 points. First of all, it came with a record number of free throw attempts, and it ended up being 36 of those 83 points from free throws. So 36 out of 43. Kobe, in his 81-point game, only 16 free throws, and or 18, I should say. So half of the points, half of the free throw points. He was 18 for 20. And it's just the fourth quarter kind of devolved. He had 62 points after Adebayo had 62 points after three quarters. The game was a blowout. They left him in, and then there was all this kind of nonsense and fouling to the point where the Heat, up big, were intentionally fouling the opponent to get clock stoppages, to get the ball back to Adebayo to try to keep building up this total. And then he was being triple and quadruple teamed, getting fouled, going to the line. So it's just like it kind of became this farce. Kobe's 81 points. Kobe scored 81 of 122 that his team scored that night. So what's that, 2/3? 2/3 of the team's points. Adebayo scored 83 of 150, which is closer to half. I don't know. It's crazy. I think people have they've romanticized the Kobe 81-point game, and so have I, because I remembered it. And all I'll say about this, I don't think it should have an asterisk. He scored 83 points in an NBA game, but I sort of hope people will just kind of this generation who maybe saw it will remember the Kobe game as being so much better of a performance. To me, this Adebayo thing is like, so the record in the NHL is 10 points in a game, and I don't think anyone's ever had 9, and then there's a bunch of people with 8. So imagine if someone got 9 points in an NHL game and 3 of them came on an empty net. You know, like 3 of them came on empty net points, and then should that be remembered better than Gagne getting 4 and 4 with a goalie in net for all 8 of them? Like, no way. So that's kind of, I don't like the integrity of it. My hope is just that people will remember the Kobe game as like, that was like the standard of the modern era.
Yeah. And I get it. Listen, I hear everything you're saying, but no one else has done it, right? So other teams have run up to score. Other teams have had, high scoring games, but no one else has got to 83. So let's look at the breakdown here. He had 31 points in the first quarter, 43 by halftime, 62 through 3 quarters, 70 with 9 minutes left. So, and then 77 with 3.5 minutes left. So Miami did start fouling to get the ball back with a minute 40 left. So I get it. You could be part of something amazing. Like because no one else has done it. No one else. Everyone plays the game. Everyone has chances. And this is the guy who's able to do it. Now, Bam Adebayo isn't exactly a superstar. Well, he's a really good player, but I don't think he's going down in history as one of the greatest players like LeBron, Kobe, and of course Wilt, who has a 100-point game.
Yeah.
But I saw this. I was like, good for him. He did it. He actually did it. Yep. No one else did it. And I wonder if someone else got close in the same situation. Would they not go for it? And I'll just use this quote from Bam. And he says, I got 70 with 9 minutes left to go in the game. You think I'm not going for it? Who would be like, coach, just take me out. Yeah, right. You can't be mad at me. If you're mad, I don't care. Because a lot of people, if they did play, they never had a chance to get that close to chasing greatness. And if you're that close to chasing greatness, that's the point of chasing it, so you can surpass it. So I'm down. I am fine with this and going for it, because if someone else has a chance, I say go for it. See what you can do.
He put the ball in the hoop. That didn't. There's nothing there, and he's the one that did it. And I get all. And the rules are as such that they can't stop you from fouling. There's nothing against intentionally fouling to stop the clock. So I get it too. I guess I have that soft spot for the Kobe game as well. But I'll remember this as well, in large part because of the controversy that's kind of swirled around it. But good for him. 83 is crazy.
It's so crazy, and it's so good. I mean, and you know what? It's one of those things. It's something I'll remember, where I was sitting in Penticton when I saw this score that this guy put together. So pretty amazing. Do we have another break here, Zoobs? Or are we rolling into it?
Nope, we're going
right into it. Okay, then let's just do it. Let's get right into Playing the Field, brought to you by Modern Measure. Graduation and wedding seasons are officially here, and Modern Measure offers fantastic promotions to not only help make your big day a special one, but also helps your wallet. Design your custom-made and measure suit and customize it just for you. Visit mdrnmeasure.com. All right. We talked a little bit about this last night, the situation with Radko Gudas taking a healthy run at Toronto Maple Leaf captain and superstar Austin Matthews. Later in the game, Matthews left. I have not seen an update as of noon on Friday about where Matthews is and or any potential suspension. But Gudas is having a phone conversation or a phone call with the Department of Player Safety. So that means it can be no more than 5-game suspension. He's getting suspended. I mean, this was as clear a knee as I've seen. I mean, his knee is out so far. I thought he was doing a groin stretch, Gudas was, because he had a sore groin as he was skating towards Austin Matthews. So it is going to be a suspension. I think he'll get the max 5 games. It was needless, careless, no reason for it. On a star player, right in the middle of everyone. So I think he'll get 5 games, Zubie. What do you think? Again, we don't know as of noon Friday or 1 o'clock Friday.
Yeah, I think all they've said is I think Matthews will be getting an MRI. That's the only update as far as the injury goes. So that usually means there's at least the possibility that it's a torn ligament. Yeah, it's a dirty play from a dirty player. He's shown this in the past. He has a history. I like guys that there's parts of Gudas's game that I like, but certainly not this. And yeah, I don't know if he's been suspended before, but I think because of the profile of this and being Austin Matthews and whatnot, I feel like they're going to throw the book at him as much as they can. And then the interesting question this raises too, I mean, it seems like with the Leafs in the state of where they are, that it's all but a done deal that no matter how serious this injury is, I think they're going to shut him down. Don't you think?
Shut him down. I mean, if you can get down to the bottom of the bottom of the top 5, because their pick is draft protected, right?
That's right.
So if they can get down. So just right now, just so people know, the Vancouver Canucks have 48 points, and that's last. The Maple Leafs have 67 points, and that's 25th. They have 16 games left. So to get into the top 5, they'd have to be passed by any combination of New Jersey, the Jets, Blues, and Rangers, let's say, because the Leafs have 67, the Rangers 62 St. Louis, 62 Winnipeg, 66 Devils, 67 Toronto. So it's possible. It's possible, and the Oilers can help them out by winning, beating the St. Louis Blues tonight. Or actually, they would hurt them if they don't. They actually should let the Blues win, but we don't really care about the Leafs. But they're within striking distance of a top 5 draft pick. They're not. I don't believe the Flames or Vancouver they'll catch, but I think they're within striking distance of it.
Yeah, it's just a strange way of putting things to think that to be in striking distance of bottom 5. But you're right. Those bottom 3 are, I don't think, going anywhere, but there could still be some movement there. Winnipeg's shown a little bit of a pulse lately. I don't know. It's going to be tough for them to get into that bottom 5. And could you imagine if they got into that bottom 5 and won the draft lottery, what the tinfoil hats that would be being put on then. So maybe it's better for all of us if they don't.
Yeah. Can you imagine they get Gavin McKenna? I think Verhoff is a good player too, the big D man. I would take a look at him as well. Okay. Kyler Murray, released by the Arizona Cardinals
yes.
on Wednesday. and he signed a contract yesterday with the Minnesota Vikings. Now, this is a really interesting contract, according to Ian Rappaport. It has a guaranteed no tag clause in it. That means that no matter what he does this year, next year he'll be a free agent in 2027. So just take a look at it. I think Kyler Murray can be a good quarterback, a first round pick or first overall pick a couple years ago. Look at who he can pass to: Addison, Justin Jefferson. What is it? Hawkinson, the big tight
Hawkinson,
end.
yes.
TJ. They've got was Aaron Jones in the backfield. Like, he's got some weapons to
Yeah.
drop balls on. I don't know that he had those same type of weapons there. So this could be a huge moment, and quarterback friendly, and Kevin O'Connell, quarterback friendly coach that can
Right.
help him be great. So this is great for him. Bad for JJ McCarthy. Just recently, he was their huge acquisition for them. Had a bit of a tough year. I watched some of their games. Man, he had a tough time moving the ball. But this is all about JJ, Justin Jefferson. You got to get that guy the ball, or JJ will be gone. So Kyler will be tossed into him that like Jay McCarthy didn't. Now, the coach said that there's no sense of who's going to be or no predetermined plan about who's going to be the starter. Yeah, that's like me saying I don't think I'm going bald. We all know what's happening. The truth is it'll be Kyler Murray. Then maybe Kyler leaves, and then next year JJ has time to develop. Maybe that's the plan, because they're not just giving up on a guy they took that high just recently. What was it, 2 years ago, I think?
Yeah. And JJ, they had such confidence in JJ. They moved on from Sam Darnold, and what did he do again?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Things
that
worked
was
out
crazy.
pretty good for him, as he's won 28 regular season games in the last 2 seasons, and that trophy with the football on top. So yeah, this is because I'm a Seahawks fan with the Darnold story, I'm kind of close to this as well. And yeah, I mean, I'll never understand, and obviously, I don't play the game, but when a quarterback has a Justin Jefferson, a Megatron, a Julio Jones, some of those guys, that's like, when things aren't going well, why your default isn't to just put it close to those guys, because they might not catch it, but it's rare that they give up interceptions either, because they're just so adept at getting to the ball wherever you put it. And when the Seahawks and Vikings played this year, now it wasn't McCarthy didn't play. Young Brosmer I can't even remember his first name, but this Brosmer guy had his first ever start, and it was I think as a rookie quarterback, why wouldn't you just throw it up for him? I think Jefferson had 2 receptions in the game for 4 yards, and now the Seahawks defense is very good, but they didn't even throw to him until like the fourth quarter. And so yeah, it's a really interesting situation. I think it's a really smart move by Kyler Murray and his agent. They seem to have found a landing spot. There's great probability for success here, and if he can sort of rebuild his profile, he can either extend there and they move on from McCarthy, or he can hit the open market. So,
and for those who do fantasy football, Kyler Murray might be an interesting late round addition as a quarterback. Got some pretty good weapons. He just has to drop it in there. And finally, big game today in the world of baseball: Canada versus the U.S. That game goes at 5:00 for the World Baseball Classic. So 6:00 in Edmonton, I should say. It's going down in Houston, so I think that'll be fairly pro-American, if I'm guessing, the crowd. I've been looking at a couple of websites, and apparently the chances of Canada winning are about 15%. So would be a fairly large upset. But Zubie, I'll tell you this. It's a bit of a sweet one to get back, considering that Canada lost both the gold medals in hockey for the Olympics.
Oh my goodness! And then at a Blue Jays game in early July, with 50% of the players out on the field being American, the fans in the sky in the Rogers Center can chant Canada when a little scuffle breaks out or whatever. Yeah, odds are stacked against them, but the Americans, they lost to Italy. They weren't as dominant as you might expect, especially considering their roster. They got the big dumper. They got Aaron Judge. They got Paul Skeens. Like, this team is loaded with superstars. Canada's got some nice, MLB level players, not the same star power, but they seem to kind of be gelling as a team. This Abraham Toro's he's got like one of the best batting averages in the entire tournament, better than anyone on the USA team. So they got a chance. It's one game. They got a chance. I'll be rooting for them.
Both teams are 3-1 heading to this one. All right, that was Playing the Field. Let's get to Ask Us Anything now. We've got a great stream. Thanks for joining us today. We'll be back next Wednesday, back to regular programming. I think my life will kind of get back into a bit of normal situation. You can all appreciate when things kind of go sideways family-wise. So, Zubie, what are the people asking here as we prepare to wrap this bad boy up?
Okay, sometimes some of the nuts and bolts of sending guys up and down is usually more Shogger's territory, but Hendricks Dented Can wants to know, is there a scenario where we could see Pickard recalled for a few games before the playoffs? So I'll note someone, I think Original Posar over on Twitter pointed out that I think there might be a reason why they can't send Jari down. Not for waivers. It has to do with rosters past a certain date or whatever, but that doesn't mean they can't call Pickard up and carry 3 goalies. Let's say that things kind of continue the way they are. 1 win, 1 loss, big defensive miscues and lots of high goals against, but they're still running in the playoff race. Do you think there's any chance they go, we want to get picks up here and get a game in or 2 because we might need them in the playoffs?
Yeah, so people, just so you understand, people hire professional people to understand how that works and how the salary cap works. So if we don't know it exactly off by heart, I think got to give us a little bit of grace. We know the game, not necessarily the legal issues behind it. Now, I can't speak to whether he can or can't be sent down or called up. This is why I don't believe they will call him up. These are their goalies. These are the 2 guys. They're committed to Tristan Jarry for 2 more years past this one. Unloading that contract would be very expensive at this point, very expensive. And a buyout, having 2 goalies on buyout would be a disaster. So they're committed to these 2 goalies. I think Ingram's been fine. I think they're going to try to help Jarry find his game because Cal Pickard will not be here next year. It is these 2 gentlemen, and well, for the short term. And I would think that Ingram has probably earned a contract.
Okay. D. White wants to know, this might on the surface level, this might sound like a simple question, but D. White says he wants to know the truth. Do you feel the Oilers are better today than they were on March 30th, 2025? So let's say a year ago. I'm not sure why we picked the 30th, but after the trade deadline last year, is this an obvious no, or how do you feel about that question?
Okay, so who are we missing from last year? We're missing, I wrote it down last night, Kulak, Klingberg, Evander Kane, Stu Skinner, Perry,
Connor Brown.
And so in for that will have been guys like
Arvidsson and Jeff Skinner were here.
Well. Arvidsson and Jeff Skinner, yeah. And Arvidsson's having a good year in Boston, by the way. Hey-o. So who's in? We have Dickinson, Colton Dock, I guess Trent Frederick, he was there last year too. Tristan Jarry, Connor Ingram, Connor Murphy, Stastny,
Savoy was here, but he wasn't playing.
Roslovic,
yeah.
So, did they lose that much? They lost some veteran savvy for sure in Connor Brown, in Klingberg, in Kulak. Like those are guys that are there, but the core is still there. I don't know, are they better or worse? I think they're less experienced, especially on the back end where they probably could really use Klingberg and Kulak or 2 players like that right now. What do you think, Zoobs?
Well, I don't know about if it's hard to compare, but what I would say is I think I said this right at the start of the season. What I really hoped with the offseason changes that the team made was that they would let Savoy, Isaac Howard, maybe a Quinn Hudson, those young guys play and be on the team in important positions and learn on the job, even if it meant there were some growing pains, because the top guys would still continue to carry this team to enough wins, in my opinion, to get into the playoffs. Now, I think we've kind of seen that with Matt Savoy. And the Olympic break, as you guys have discussed, maybe helped quite a bit, but obviously they didn't really go that direction with the other guys, didn't give them the ice time, or Howard, maybe deservedly so. Maybe he does deserve to be in the minors, but I kind of hope that they might see this year as a journey of moving those guys along because they knew the top guys could carry the regular season. So are they, I feel like they could have been better than last year, maybe if they had followed that path, but I mean, I understand what they did. It's close. I like the defensive additions they've made.
Yeah. So now if they can keep Connor Murphy or choose to keep him, that's why he's an older player. But keep in mind, there's no way Savoy, Quinn Hudson, and Isaac Howard will all play on the Oilers at the same time. They're too similar, right? They're just
Right.
smallish
Yes.
wingers. And I'm not saying they're not good players; they're just too small. Like Quinn Hudson, or he has 26 goals in 52 games. Like, what more do you want me to do? He's like, hey guys, what more do I have to do? Well, you have to grow, right? Because there's a reason Josh Romanski is up on this team, and I've liked Josh's game. But let's be clear. Stan Bowman, his mandate was to upgrade the quality of group of young players I have in the AHL and upgrade some youth on this lineup. And he's done, I think, an okay job. Now he's had some misses. That's for sure. There's been some misses for sure in this lineup and some of the signings. But he's trying to do, I think he's done a better job than Ken Holland of getting young players in this group.
And Colton, I like the young, this
Colton,
young group. And I think they just need to kind of, and maybe, unfortunately, it's not a this year thing. Maybe it's a next year thing. Sort out who are the young guys who can be everyday players. And maybe that kind of thinking, my thinking applies more to next year. But let's not think next year yet. Here's a good one. We got Steve Taylor, just Steve, is on an airplane watching us using his Wi-Fi. And here's a good one, an airplane question. Here's a timely one. The guy in front of me has reclined his seat. He's not even napping. I would never recline if there's someone behind me. What about you guys?
Yeah, no, I get it. I'm a really big guy though, and sometimes it's really tight. And it could be the case of the person in front of you, Scuba Steve, the person in front of him who's in front of you has his seat reclined, and maybe you want more space. But yeah, I'm with you. Unless I'm sleeping, I don't put it back. But I never hesitate. If I choose to put it back, I'm putting it back. It's there for a reason. There's no rules around that. But there are rules about dropping wolf bait to your seatmate. That is a strict rule.
Your wolf bait. You should have. Yeah. I could see the guys. Well, I didn't. I felt like I knew what you were talking about, but I've never heard that term either. But I can see all the guys' faces. Here in the thing, and it was like the exact same expression from all of us. Like, what? I think I know what he's talking about. I love it. You know what? I never recline. I recline if the guy in front of me reclines, and sometimes still not even then. And usually if I do it, I'll even say over my shoulder, sorry, guy in front of me did it too. Like
double down.
I think almost like outside of premium seats, they shouldn't even recline. Really, like what's the point of even having them recline 3 inches just to take that, it doesn't make it any easier to like fall asleep or anything, in my opinion. You're still basically sitting upright. All it does is mess up the person behind you. Okay, I think I had one more. Okay. A couple here. Nick Biscupeck. Okay, Nick Biscupeck, he's always got good stuff. He says, Struddy, did you have a hardcore workout regime when you played, or did you get more serious about fitness after? Was NHL Struddy or present-day Struddy more serious about fitness?
Oh, the one when I was playing, I had to work out. I took it very seriously. I got introduced to working out when I was pretty young, like maybe 14, like 13. I'd run a lot, sprinting, riding my bike up hills, running up hills. Like I really noticed how it affected in a positive way what I could do. So I did it. Now I do it more just to try to keep mobile, and I don't want to age too quick. I don't want to look like I'm 1,000 when I'm only 50, like Rob Brown. But so, and then, you know what, I think that it's continuing to evolve, right? You look at the way guys are working out now, they're kind of less muscle mass and they're more quick, but the game changed. So everything's changing up as we kind of go through it.
Okay. Nick Biscupeck also said, I think I know what you're going to say here, but that's okay. Just want your opinion on this. He says, am I wrong? And they're talking about the Tristan Jarry trade still. Am I wrong, or wouldn't Connor have a say in the Jarry trade? Marixa came back and says, I doubt the GM has to go to McDavid with every move he's looking to make. Obviously, there's some connection there, not necessarily to the GM, but obviously Jeff Jackson and Connor have a relationship. Do you think there's anything here just like maybe from Jeff Jackson, hey, Connor's, maybe not asking his opinion, some information, something might be happening. And also sub-question to that, how many GMs ever checked with you before they made a trade?
Yeah, well, zero. They were saying, we're trying to trade you. Nobody wants you. I heard that a lot. But no, I think there are some deals that maybe you have a conversation with your captain about, and more about how would the team feel. Not so much, hey, do you think we should do this? That's a dangerous game to get into.
Right.
Really dangerous game. Sometimes you have to do things that the players don't agree with. And then that's, if you think it's in the best interest of the team, not everyone's going to like it on the team, but that's the choice that you have to make as the GM. So it's a really slippery slope when you start inviting top players into every conversation about a trade or acquisition you're thinking about making.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. I think we're
All
good
right,
there.
guys.
This was great to get back at it.
Yes.
I haven't done
So
one.
good.
I haven't done a Struddy's World in like a month.
I know. Well,
I missed
again, I'm
one.
sorry, everyone. Life kind of got in the way here, but we're back on track now, and everyone goes through that at some point during their life. And it was a great stream today. Thank you for taking your time. The good news is we're doing it again tonight. The Oilers play St. Louis, an important 2 points for the Oilers to bank, obviously for their own playoff hopes, but also to hurt the Maple Leafs' chances of getting a top 5 pick. So let's all root against them. So that's it for us today. Zubie, anything on the way out the door, buddy, from you?
I guess that would be the bonus if the Oilers were to lose tonight. Oh no, we want to win. We want to keep St. Louis down, right? So it's a double victory for Oiler fan.
Yeah.
We got something. I got a little surprise on the show tonight.
Okay,
that's all. I'm just gonna tease it. There's a surprise. It's gonna be good for a few laughs on a Friday night, regardless of the outcome of the game.
I love it. All right, we'll be ready for that. So thank you, Zubie, for your help today. Thank you to Noodles. Thank you to Jack Michaels, the voice of your Edmonton Oilers, and to all of you for tuning in and our sponsors. We appreciate and love you all. On behalf of Zubie, myself, and all your friends here, have a great night. We'll talk to you tonight, post-game St. Louis Oilers. Have a good game, everybody.